Hi, this is Roland from NewMediaSandbox.com, and today I wanted to talk to you about email marketing basic best practices. Now, even if you're a seasoned marketing professional and you've done your share of email marketing campaigns, just give me a minute or two because maybe we'll cover something that you haven't paid too much attention to lately. And if you're new to email marketing, haven't done that before, consider this a primer, get you started thinking in the right directions and ways you can go and enhance the work that you're about to do. So, best practices. Always, as with any marketing campaign, have a plan. You really need to think about, what is your strategy? What's your communication plan? How is whatever email marketing effort you're about to do going to support the greater marketing communications plan that you already have in place? What's your call to action, as well as what your offer is, obviously. But what's your call to action? How are you going to support these people when they take that action? Do you have some sort of editorial calendar so you have some plan of how you're going to push messages out over a period of time? What kind of frequency are you going to be reaching out to people with? That's all very important to sort of think that through carefully up front so you have a clear vision and the people who you're working with will have a clear vision. Now, maintaining targeted mailing lists. This is important because presumably you've been collecting email addresses from people that have done business with you or have indicated that they want to be contacted in the future with offer opportunities. And that's great. And you always want to make sure that those mailing lists are rather up to date, that they're cleansed as much as possible, that they only have opt-in subscribers, people who have gone through a means of saying, yes, I want to receive messaging from you in the future. You should not go out scraping email addresses from any sources or renting, very suspicious email lists. Now, you also want to make sure that you're sending only relevant messages. Now, this is key because people are busy, their inboxes are jammed. They're going to give your subject line a brief millisecond of a glance before deciding whether to open it or delete. So you really want to make sure that whatever you're touching them with is going to be relevant, important to them at the time, and not just frivolous in nature. Now, design also with users in mind. So this is important because you got to think about who is the receiver of this? A lot of times I've seen marketing folks who want to go and cram everything into a single message, sort of like, with the monthly newsletter mentality. What if we go and shove 15 different message opportunities into a single email that's sent once a month? I mean, that sounds great and efficient, but it really isn't, because when you think about all those different messages that are going to be in there, how distracting is that going to be? Are you going to basically lose the attention and the focus of the user because there's no clear direction that you want somebody to be going in? So you really need to think about, is the particular message going to be right? Or is it too confusing, too cluttered? Is the visual going to be very appealing to the end user? Are you going to make sure that you have both like HTML and basic text versions so that if somebody is reading an email, through a mobile device, that they'll be able to actually view it and not be just see like a big placeholder for some giant image? You really got to think these things through, and you also want to make sure that they're compliant with devices that are going to read the text. So for people who have a visual impairment or difficulty and are using auditory reading devices, technical devices, mechanical devices, you want to make sure that the message is readable in that format as well. Custom landing pages. That's pretty important because the email message might be great. You might hook the person and get them interested, but if you send them to your homepage, that's probably not going to be relevant. You really want to go and send them to a page on your website that's going to continue the conversation that you're starting in email. So think about that carefully. Plus, by having custom landing pages, you have the ability to sort of measure what type of traffic was coming through specifically from email. So you can sort of use that as part of your metrics and measurement of effectiveness. Test everything. That's obvious. You want to test everything. Subject lines, deploy messages to different groups of people with different subject lines so you can test what is more effective at getting the email open to begin with, as well as the type of links that you have inside the body and the different call to actions and maybe even the positioning of elements within that email. You want to measure everything, so you want to make sure that whatever tool you're using to deploy your emails has some sort of analytics and reporting in place. And also, as I said, the custom landing pages that you set up, make sure you got web analytics in place to measure that as well. Above all, comply with CAN Spam Act best practices. This is what was set up in 2003 for marketers doing business in the United States. We're supposed to comply with the best practices that were defined in there to help reduce and eliminate unnecessary mailings. Now, obviously, that doesn't work as great as it could, but you as a marketer could be fined if you're not at least following the best practices. And if you're interested in that, just point your browser to CAN Spam Act, and the very first link you'll find will be from the government. And finally, the last thing I wanted to talk about was appropriate unsubscribe functionality. I mean, this is critical. If somebody does not want to be receiving your messages, don't be offended. It might just be that they're overloaded, or they just feel that when they're ready to re-engage with your brand, they're going to do it on their terms. They don't need to be reminded continuously. So you want to make sure that you have functionality that works. It could be, a reply mechanism. So if you reply to this email or to the email address that it was sent from with an unsubscribe in the headline, or you might want to have some sort of link that automatically takes a person to an unsubscribe page that they can have one last chance to go and verify what email address that they want to unsubscribe. Just whatever you do, make sure that it's easy, that you're not blocking people from doing this, and just remember, it's not personal. It's just most likely that the person does not want to receive messages at this time, but it isn't necessarily that they have an unfavorable opinion of your brand. It might be just the issue of being overwhelmed. Anyway, I hope that you find these helpful. Please visit newmediasandbox.com if you want to go and join the conversation going on over there or suggest additional marketing best practices. Take care.